When I see a tree like this, I think if these are taken down, then it'll take 500 years before the human or any other creature will be able to see something like it again in this region, which is just way too long. Here's a cute little fungi highlighting the biodiversity in the region. Okay, so this area here was clearfelled. Would have been now about 3 months ago, and you can see that the whole area has been napalmed and burnt out. The habitat trees have all been burnt, and the gullies have all been burnt. There's not one single alive bush or grass or anything left on the ground. It has been totally scorched in a very intense hot burn. All the ferns are completely dead and it's bare earth, which is exactly what DSE are wanting. The Victorian government are wanting to set these areas up as being tree farms for the woodchip industry. And so what they do is they kill off everything that's living in here, including all of the animals and the insects, the soil life, etc. They burn it, and then they reseed it with one species. And that'll be the woodchip species, which in another 10-15 years' time, they'll start chopping up for toilet paper and comic books in Japan. But what has actually happened here is we've turned rainforest to a woodchip farm. And in the process, we've ripped out the heart of this incredible rainforest, diverse rainforest in the water catchment of Goongerah. And this was burnt weeks ago, and it's still smoking from here. The smell is putrid. It's overpowering, and you can see there's trashed wood everywhere. Anybody who says that that they come through and they salvage all of the timber for wood chips, they don't. What they do is they take out the prime straight pieces, and everything else is thrown into piles and it's burnt. This is high rainfall area, and it's a bit of a fog coming up now, but this gully just down from where we are leads down into the Goongerah Creek, and all of this ground, if we have a downpour now, all of the clays will be washed out of this soil down into the pebble beds of the creek down there and clog up the creek. Eventually they'll wash through and down into the rivers. So we not only have a situation where the young tree farm trees take up all the water and dry up the creek, also the creek is completely silted up and is destroyed as far as habitat goes for a lot of the fish and frogs that are needing the pebbles. So yeah, it's incredible destruction. This has only just happened, and yeah, I was here a few months ago and confronting the contractors who were logging this, and sad to come back and to see it in such a poor state. So this area here is also just up the road from the last coop that we've seen, and this is about a couple of months since it's been clear felled and the contractors have left. What they've done here is they've piled up all of the scrap wood that they don't want to take out, and burned it in a very intense burn in the autumn time, and soil here is completely barren of any life. It's still smoking. Even underneath the soil, the roots are burning and are still smoking weeks after it's been burnt. All of the soil, which has been exposed to heavy rain and flood, will wash down into the creek, into the Goongerah Creek, and then eventually down into the Brodrib River, which feeds into the Snowy. There's silt will be washed into the river, and this whole area will be turned from wet mixed rainforest to dry sclerophyll woodchip farm, one species. From having a range of 400 or 500 different species in this area, it'll be reduced down to one single tree species at one age, which will be very, very thirsty for water, drying up the creek. and creating a fire hazard. This area is 1 year old regrowth that's in an area that's been clear felled for sawlog and paper pulp. And this forest beforehand was old growth, which was trees were on average 400 to 500 years, and all of the big trees and all of the main hollow trees have been removed, and they've left a few habitat trees. This forest used to be what they call mixed forest, where you had a huge variety of species, and this will eventually be reseeded with just one species, which is going to be used for wood chip pulp. And so this area has changed from being old growth rainforest and wet sclerophyll into a fire-loving wood chip farm. And so the result. Okay, well, this area here is is right next to the Snowy River National Park, just across the road, and this is high altitude, cool temperate rainforest mixed with wet sclerophyll forest, and it's where there's been Victorian clear felling practices just above the Goongerah Creek water catchment. So this is actually part of the Goongerah Creek water catchment, and this is about 2.5 years old, this coop, as it's been clear felled. And you can see they've left, in here they've left some habitat trees in amongst it, but the biggest trees have been felled, and all of the usable timber species have been felled also. And what you can see regenerating now is millions of wattles and daisies coming back to try to hold the soil together, because when they clear felled it, this was all bare earth, and basically all of the silt from the bare earth, when there's a big rain, washes down into the creek and then into the rivers.
This area looks like it's been logged, I don't know, between 15 and 20 years ago. We've mainly got wattle coming up, and as you can see, there's pretty much only wattle. There's not much else coming up, unlike the diversity of an old growth forest. There's only one species that's one size, which is okay, but not any of the powerful owls or any of the night owls. None of the big birds of prey can use this forest, and it restricts the amount of animal life in here as well. It just looks like hairs on a dog's back.
Here's one of the larger trees in the area. This one would have a commercial value of about 9 cents per tonne in today's current market. A little confusing when we look at the size and the beauty of this tree, how it can be so undervalued like that. Here's a sample of selective logging rather than decimation. As you can see, the bush is still thick, rich with biodiversity.
Perhaps I view this as a grandmother tree. It's one that seems to have been here for a long time, that's probably put out seed and given birth to lots of the other ones around here. When they came through and selectively logged however many years ago, they left big ones like this, which was a great idea. And you can see off to the right of it, it looks like that's sort of the mother tree, and then over further there's like a daughter tree, and there's little ones all around it. It's like 3 generations, it seems.
What type of tree is it?
It's a big eucalypt. But these are quite prolific through here, these big old trees. That's why they call it the Valley of the Giants.